Okay. Hi, Tallulah.
Hi. So I arrived on Sunday, and it was the first time kind of meeting all of the team. I had met Dean and Troy before, obviously, but we'd only met once, and I think I was a little bit nervous because obviously I was kind of coming up here for 4 days and didn't know anyone really.
So yeah, that day she did the rehearsals. We kind of put our thoughts forward on how we thought certain shots should be, and and to be fair, Tallulah the day before she'd done some dance rehearsals down where in her village.
Yeah. She'd been dancing all day the day before,
Yeah,
so that really helped.
Yeah,
and she was brilliant instructing them. I thought, oh, you've done kind of dance instruction before. She said, no, don't even dance properly.
She was brilliant.
Wow. So there was a kind of lot of unknowns, but they'd arranged this dance space, and the dancers turned up and they were great. Really fantastic group of folks with all different kind of dance skills and experience, and yeah, it all just came together.
So we did the dance rehearsals, and we was there for about 2-3 hours, until everyone had felt, even the dancers, these guys were unpaid. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what you got to
There was a girl who'd come down from Liverpool.
Yeah, it all just came together really well and really quickly, and I was really surprised that I kind of within myself that I was able to that I knew because I didn't know that I knew what I wanted, if you know what I mean. But as soon as it started, it all sort of became really clear in my head, and they were just really receptive.
The Monday when it started, this was the first time we'd brought everyone together. We had 4 cameramen turn up, including yourself.
Yes.
We had a guy called Tom Gallagher. He came all the way from York. Tom, really.
Yeah, brilliant guy. Studied photography at Trent Uni, so obviously very well equipped in terms of the technical side of it. So I mean, yeah, brilliant help. Guy, likewise, Guy Bettison, he's from Mansfield, just around the corner really.
Absolute legend, that
yeah,
guy.
Yeah, brilliant guy to work with. And he brought all his lights as well, his camera, and those 2 guys I think added a lot to the team.
Joe came down from Edinburgh.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't thank him enough. He's brilliant. He's a genius. I love him to bits. And it's kind of, he was saying to me, just I was kind of holding back a bit because obviously you don't want a random person you've never met before coming onto your set as an AD and saying, right, do this, do that. This has got to be done in an hour. And he was saying, I didn't want to do that. I didn't really want to step on your toes before establishing that. But then I think that midday Monday we're just kind of both on the same page.
Yeah.
Monday morning we shot the last sequence first. So we shot one of the last sequences of the video. We shot that first, and that was in this kind of really run-down building. And so the dancers kind of turned up the flat, and they started doing that. We just had this idea that they should be in silver body paint, which seemed like a really simple idea, except that we had these ridiculously stupidly small sponges, and it took them like 2.5 hours to kind of cover themselves, and we basically covered the flat in silver paint. We were running about an hour behind because it took so long to put the body paint on. But then actually on set, they'd kind of set everything up and were ready to go, and then unfortunately Guy tripped over something and the whole thing came down. So they had to rebuild the set. So Monday morning was, I think, really stressful for everyone because it just didn't run smoothly at all.
We quickly found that Guy tripped over a lot of things.
Yes, clumsy. You guys were there, like setting things up for an hour, and he just kind of tripped over this wire that connected all the bloody candles, like the one important, that like the pressure point of the whole kind of thing.
Yeah, that was my fault.
And everything just went. And I was saying we should put like a white circle on the floor and duct tape so people just don't step around that area. But the problem with that area was it was right in the corner of the room. There was a doorway right next to it, and we had all our stuff behind that wire, and anyway, I think it's a good thing that he did that because it
It
got
made it
set up
better.
again. Yeah,
And
was
it
a lot
made it
better.
look better. It did make it. It did make it look better
Yeah.
because we just
Yeah.
strengthened everything.
Yeah, at that time I had
Thanks,
to kind
Guy. Thanks, Guy. Appreciate that.
But I think that we got what we wanted out of it. I just think it was a pretty full on for everyone to do as like the first scene. And you know, for a team that hasn't worked together before, it was like really throwing everyone in the deep end. And it was almost like that scene would have been the best scene to film last, when we'd already known each other and we kind of got really into a rhythm. But we kind of I think we set ourselves like a real like monster challenge, and it worked. I could definitely think we pulled it off, and the dancers were great. And the team worked really, really well. The runners were brilliant. Everything was lit by candles, and because everything had taken so long, the candles were falling off the wire, and it was just getting a bit hectic.
We went to Collar Court.
Oh, and then we went to Collar Court.
Yeah, everyone came back to the house, took some time to take showers and stuff.
Yeah, we were kind of in this like basement, and like the dancers were a bit disgruntled by the fact they'd been coming, like very cool, but they were just like, please can we have showers? So we kind of came back and had showers, and kind of, we've been rolling around on kind of dirty floors. Everyone was like quite happy to have a bit of a clean. And then Troy and Guy and Troy, Guy and Tom went to Collick Hall and set up the scene for the Hall of Mirrors. And then Kira, the makeup artist that should have been there in the morning, was able to get to us. And that was brilliant. She really kind of... Well, then we were starting. Do you know what I mean? Because we had like the full team. And so we could sort like the hair and makeup, and that next scene just was like super, super quick.
Yeah, so and we had the two hairdressers, Ruby and Gemma, who had never worked on a film set before. But my God, were they? They had no sleep. They were. I mean, one morning Ruby walked through that door and I said morning, and she just walked straight past me. She didn't even hear me. She just sat straight down. They did the hair perfectly. I think Tallulah was really happy with the girls.
Yeah, and they were just like really nice to be around. It's just
real
both
fun.
such nice people, and then the amount of dedication again for a unpaid job. It's just
Yeah, and they loved it. I was apologising to them all the time because they were doing 19-hour days as well.
Yeah.
Hall of Mirrors was great. Troy was clear about what he wanted to get from that sequence. Because filming dance is a really hard thing to do, and again that was like a bit of a challenge, I think. It's hard work. By that point we were running really late, and we were about 10:30, and we were due to film 2 more big scenes. And no, you should.
Yeah, I was just like no way we could have got those
Yeah, you're like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, and no point of even starting. Was it 10:30?
It was 10:30 when we finished doing the Hall of Mirrors.
I think it was almost midnight by the time we got out of Collick Hall, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we finished 10:30, and then we were due to film like the stairway sequence. And we sort of walked into the stairway shot, and we couldn't for some reason we couldn't find, there was like no one there that could show us how to turn the lights on and off, and there was just really stark, really bright lighting. It was really it was just like we kind of just didn't have control of the space, and so we weren't going to be able to achieve what we wanted from that space. So I was a bit pissed off because I was beginning to feel a bit bad about the dancers, because everyone had been waiting around for like 6 hours to do this scene, and basically I was just like, oh God, that's really shit. I was feeling a bit bad about that. So that was quite a trying moment, I think, for everyone, because we were all a bit like, Dean couldn't get hold of anyone, so we couldn't actually, all the light switches had these ridiculous things on them.
That's what they told us. Like, we still haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
We got so many different answers from different people. We're just like, yes, whatever.
So basically we just couldn't do the outdoor scene because of the same problem as the indoor scene, is that the person that knew how to turn the lights on and off wasn't there. Monday night was a real good, like, kind of where did we kind of go wrong? What went well, and I think it was just like a bit of a shake-up for everyone, because it was, having this whole team, it was like 25 crew, who hadn't worked together before. So it was a real challenge, I think, for everyone on that day. And then Tuesday, you know, I think we kind of hit the ground running a little bit better because it kind of really given everyone a bit of a kick up the arse. But we started with this underwater scene, which was just brilliant. I mean, don't know what the actual footage looks like, but it was brilliant to do. It was really fun to do, and both Troy and I were basically, we were kind of kitted out with scuba diving gear, and great team. A woman called Karen and a woman called Bryony. Yeah, and they're from a company called Tribe. Is that right?
Yeah, the Tribe Scuba Centre.
Yeah, they're from the Tribe Scuba Centre, and they basically donated their time to come and help and be the kind of safety folks. And there's no way we could have done it without them. Sorry, there's no way we could have done it with them. There's no way we could have done it without them, because, my God, it was like the dress that I was wearing weighed a ton. It weighed like 10. I did 10 kilos or something once it was in the water. It was so heavy. I kind of jumped in. I was like, yay! And I just couldn't go like back up to the surface again. So they would had to teach us how to breathe underwater, which was quite counterintuitive. But then once we both sussed it, it was brilliant. And I think for Troy, again, like, it's kind of throwing someone in the deep end. Okay, not only are we now going to do an underwater sequence, not only do you have to learn to breathe underwater with a scuba diving gear, you've got to film a really good scene underwater, having never done either of those things before.
The divers, you know, they spent 10 minutes with Troy and then 10 minutes with Tallulah, working through the thing. How did that go?
The gear and all that. Yeah, it's quite a complicated bit of gear, really, if you've got no bloody idea of how it works. And it's all about coordination, really, because kind of sinking down, there's this kind of little button that you press, and it deflates your vest so you start sinking. Apparently I was very kind of buoyant, because I'm so skinny, I just kind of kept on wanting to go up. Yeah, because she said, yeah, Troy's going to need some weights on this, but yeah, you kind of deflate the air out of your vest, and then at the same time you've got to kind of equalise the pressure in your ears and that, and kind of you keep on doing that. If you go down too fast, you'll have a massive headache, which I did in the first dive. The very first time I went down, kind of couldn't do it properly. But then, yeah, I got used to it.
And we only had an hour and a half to do it in. So again, like, totally, like, all the odds kind of slightly stacked against us. But I think by that time, you know, Troy and I were getting kind of like much more in sync with kind of communicating, and you know, the scuba diving instructors were brilliant as well. They really helped kind of get us in a position to be able to shoot the scene that we wanted to do. So I think it's a bit of a lottery. We're not quite sure if we got that scene or not, but we definitely did our best.
Yeah. We've definitely got really nice shots with the underwater stuff. It's just yeah, the tiles really.
Yeah, there's like basically like this back the behind me when I was kind of there's sort of this idea. It's like coming up through the song, like in the middle section of the song, it's like when it's no more to whisper out into the light. It's this kind of like suspended, and then she's kind of going up to the surface because she's kind of like coming out from this sort of dark space into this kind of light positive space. So we wanted to kind of do this thing from like crouched down at the bottom of the pool and then going up, so we get this kind of like trajectory and then some hovering in the water. Which sounds really simple, and it's not to film. Anyway, but it was brilliant. It was really, really fun, and I kind of feel like it was a really good thing for Troy and I to do, because I kind of felt like that we became like really good buddies after that. And the space that we had to do the instrumental section in had fallen through.
You know, stealth at the end of the day. We just phoned up, and obviously it was because of a location hiccup. So, you know, we had a bit of a break, we had a bit of a time out, didn't we, for a couple of hours. Bit of food, bit of thinging, we discussed.
It was a nice atmosphere as well, just kind of,
it was
everyone having boxes of Chinese and just everyone sat around the living room having a nice discussion. Again, you know, Gemma and Ruby were here, brilliant. You know,
Yeah.
just kind of doing the hair and makeup as we spoke. And
This space miraculously appeared within like about an hour of, you know, going, what are we gonna do? So then we turned up there and we set up, and I think we started filming at about 7:30 and we finished about 10:30. And that was brilliant. That was brilliant. Tom really came into his own, I think, in that space, and so did Troy. Tom's brilliant with lighting, and I think Troy, it just really worked. And the footage that Troy got, which I hope will be the main footage that we kind of use, just is exactly how I wanted it to be captured in my head. Troy and I hadn't really spoken about how either of us wanted to capture that part. It was just, again, quite organic, and when he showed me what he was doing, I was like, wow, that's just beautiful. It's brilliant. That's exactly, it just was so atmospheric and so strong. And then when we did all the instrumental parts as well, combination of Tom and Troy kind of bickering, and kind of like pushing and pulling, and like really kind of like was really good. I think they were a really good team, because I think they kind of pushed one another out of each other's comfort zones a little bit, and they had knowledge of different things. And I think, whilst there might have been a little bit of testing for both of them at times, I think it was actually really good. The performance part of it was the most important part. You know, that's because that's what I do. You know, I'm a singer, I'm an instrumentalist. You know, the sort of narrative side is great, and I really enjoy doing that. But you know, the actual core element of me is as the musician, is that kind of stuff. So I really was far pickier, well, not pickier, but I really wanted that to be right.
Final day, Wednesday, was the biggest day of shoot.
Yeah.
It was like
4 scenes.
4 scenes.
And then 3 different locations. Casting people around, setting up. But then, you know, we planned it, so when I think it was me, Guy, Chris, Tallulah, and the makeup artist were at Corley Hall doing like this tiny
and
kind
that
of
scene,
bathtub
and that scene was changed on the
Tuesday. On the go, yeah, exactly.
On the Tuesday.
So we were doing like rewrites as we went along as well, which is what you don't really want to do, but it was necessary because we had to scrap a couple of scenes anyway. So kind of, you know, replacements, kind of making up for more time and stuff like that. But you know, yeah, we were there filming that, and at that time, Dean and the rest of the team was at the Lace House setting up the location for the shadow room. And you know, once we finished that and came back, everything was almost ready to go. I mean, Tom was there. I said, you know, yeah, Tom, you can go there. You set it up. Yeah. And we went there. It looked absolutely spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, by the time Tallulah got back, she had her hair and makeup redone. You know, by the time she walked in, we were like pretty much ready to shoot, and everything was spot on. Yeah. And everything was working perfectly. I think that's when we reached sort of, you know, that
pinnacle.
Yeah, yeah. It's just kind of, we reached that. We had that rhythm going then, and then that's because
it was brilliant. I felt really good at that point. I remember feeling
everything's coming together, and you know, that's because the team was kind of, you know, the team had got used to each other and everything else, and like the whole flow, and also because we actually planned it properly and planned it the way it should have been done.
I'd had this idea of these dolls hanging. Lily McKelvey, who is an artist who lives next door to me, she had made these amazing dolls and these dresses. Okay, so yeah, the monks, scary monks. Yeah, and this scene was just brilliant. It just was so eerie, and you know, the team were just like really kind of fluid by this point. You know, everyone was kind of really working well together. So we shot that scene really quickly, and then had to do this thing of we'd kind of come up with this idea that, you know, once she touches the globe, she kind of like falls backwards, and that's the point where she kind of falls into the water, and it's this whole she falls backwards, and she falls into this kind of other world where she kind of puts on the dress that we see. So we shot that sequence. That was great. And then the dancers came back, and Kira and Lucy, the makeup artist, redid all the makeup again. and this scene was a scene where the character's really, she's battling against these shadows of her past that are trying to keep hold of her. They don't want to let her go. They don't want to let her be kind of free of her past or free of the pains of her past. So she's kind of there, like, battling, and that scene just was. I mean, we did it so quickly. It was extraordinary. Again, because everyone was really in flow, and the dancers were so intuitive, and I think that was kind of, I was really, really pleased with how that worked, and it was great. We just went to Colic Hall for the last, so we had to come back here, have a shower, change makeup. We had like 3 showers yesterday. Just keep washing all this stuff out of my hair and redo makeup and stuff, because we were shooting everything in really random orders. So, and then we did the last scene, the last kind of section, which was actually the first part of the story, which is when the character is wandering through the woodland, and she's walking through, and the shadows are beginning to kind of appear. She doesn't see them. She doesn't know that her past or her kind of all this stuff is still kind of trying to keep attached to her. So she's kind of just walking through, and that was great. Again, it was really fun. Everyone. I felt like we were just all like, we all kind of become really good friends. There was lots of really good banter. And our guy was great. He was really looking after me, getting me up, keeping me warm, which was brilliant because it was really cold. And Mike was great on the smoke. He was really making me laugh. Everyone was just really like relaxed and enjoying themselves, and there was lots of banter and laughter. And the dancers had gone home, so the shadows were actually replaced with crew. So again, that was a whole other different vibe, which was really cool. And we sort of ended with the shadows in like a little triangle on the verge as I'm kind of going out, and they've all kind of collected together, and they're just kind of ready to follow me in. That was a really cool scene shoot. And we finished with everyone singing, like with Will and I kicking, not Will and I, Guy and I kicking off with Bohemian Rhapsody, and then everyone was singing. We had like that whole thing. I see a little silhouette of a man, Scaramouche, like, it was so much fun. That was brilliant. That was really funny. And so we shot there, and then we did the sequence going into the hall, and that was that. And it was just brilliant. I mean, everyone. The shoot worked because everyone put so much of themselves into it, and just really went above and beyond, and were really kind of happy to kind of throw their own ideas into it. Like Tom saying, "Oh, let's just use that location," okay, and it worked. So yeah, I feel knackered, but really, really, really pleased, and I think it was an ambitious shoot. It came together, in 3 weeks. After Dean and Troy and I meeting once.
But thanks to these guys.
Yeah, big thank you. No, big thank you. Because to be fair, without Tom, Guy, Michael, Duncan, Emma, Aaron, Will, this wouldn't have been possible. And the main, I think, not to take anything away from what Michael did for us, but Chris, my dad.
Yeah. Just
he. If it wasn't
200 miles,
over 250 miles, he did in 3
and
days.
Nottingham's tiny. Nottingham's about 3 miles from one side to the other.
Feels like that, doesn't it?
Nottingham proper is like, it's tiny, and then how could you do 200 miles in Nottingham in 3 days? But yeah, apparently you can.
Yeah,
we found out.
Yeah, Chris Taylor, he's an absolute godsend.
Chris, who's basically Dean's dad, who's just been epic, just amazing.
Here's Dad, aka the Fixer. The Fixer.
The saviour.
Cue smoke. Action!
See a little silhouette of a man.
Scaramouche, Scaramouche,
When you do the fandango, talk about the lightning, very, very frightening. Miss Galileo,
Galileo, Galileo, did a magnifico! I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from his monstrosity. Easy come, will you let me go? Bismillah, no, I will not let you go, let you go. Bismillah, no.
Yeah?
Keep going, yeah, keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
What should do now?
we have beer and water, and Matt can do a really good Scottish accent. Scotland. There's been a murder. There's been a murder. The murder.
Everyone's okay. Just camera shy.
Just breathe down.
Cut.